Hello and welcome back to my podcast channel. Today's episode's pretty cool in the fact that it'll be my first ever video podcast. So I just thought I'll introduce my channel again to those who are new. So basically I am the Medic Couch Potato. I run this website, so couchpotato78.fixit.com, as well as a podcast channel to help give advice on applying to university in the UK. So for medical school, for undergraduate studies, and for master's courses. I also have a podcast episode on applying to medical school in Poland. So do check them out if you're free. So just a brief introduction. I'm a medical student currently in Poland. I have a bachelor's of science in natural sciences and a master's of science in nutrition, both from the UK. So do check out my my podcast and my blog as well, which is on my website here. So it's the blogs I've written are in conjunction with the episodes that I've released on my various podcast platforms, which I'll mention shortly. The reads are only short reads, so around 1 to 3 minutes long. So if you don't want to listen to me ramble for about 20 plus minutes, then I recommend my blog post. So if you want to contact me for any advice, whether that you want to have me read personal statements, I'm happy to do so. I can also give you advice on applying for medical school in the UK and in Poland, as well as for any other undergraduate courses in the UK. So if you want any help with the UCAS system, I'm happy to signpost you. I'm also actually a registered nutritionist, so I'm in the process of setting up one-to-one appointments. If you wanna get help for any other nutritional support, then you can email me instead, and we can talk via email. So yeah, so that's just a brief introduction about my website. My email, by the way, is couchpotato708@gmail.com, and my website URL is couchpotato708.wixit.com. I will link it up to these podcast channel when I do release this video, so you can contact me through them as well. So this is just my Instagram channel. So again, the handle is @medicouchpotato. You can find all the information that I've released so far on them, so do check them out. I also have Twitter. I'm a bit more active on Twitter than I am on Instagram. So again, you can use it to like contact me if you want to as well. So the platforms where you can find my podcast include Amazon Music, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, That Medic Couch Potato podcast on Anchor by Spotify, and as well as Spotify. So my channel name is The Medic Couch Potato on all of them, so you can find me on those 5 platforms. You can also find me on YouTube. Again, That Medic Couch Potato, and I have all the audio clips that I've done so far uploaded on there, so do check them out as well. So let's begin with today's episode. So one of my interests outside of medicine is actually in history, and I thought I'd create a new series where I explain like the history of cities that I visited. So let me just close these tabs so that I don't click on the wrong one. So the first city that we're going to be talking about today in the UK is Chester. Now if I zoom into the map of the UK here, as you can see, this is the UK, and it's in Europe, and it's formed of 4 countries and a couple of other islands as well. So the 4 countries are Northern Ireland, Scotland, so that all the border here and above is Scotland, England, and then you also have Wales here as well. We also have a couple of islands that belong to UK. I'll just mention the ones that you can see on here. So Isle of Man is one island, and then you also have the Orkney Islands, the Outer Hebrides, and then I think that's Inner Hebrides as well. So I think this is the Lewis and Harris Island, and then you also have the Shetland Islands on the top here. I think they're the most northerly part of the UK, so very close to Norway. You also have the Isle of Wight, which is here, so near Southampton. And then you also have Guernsey and Jersey. You also have Gibraltar down here next to Spain and Morocco. And you also have Falkland Islands as well. So very close to Argentina and the Antarctic. So there's just some of the few overseas territories that belong to the UK. So the first place we're going to be talking about today is Chester. Now Chester, it's a city in the northwest of the UK, so it's actually right on the border between England and Wales. So you can actually follow my cursor here that follows the dotted line of the England and Wales border, and part of Chester sits pretty much on the border. So it is what's known as a cathedral city. So Chester is a cathedral city, which in the UK, the city status in the UK is granted by the monarch of the United Kingdom. So the status to apply for that, it's traditionally given to those towns that have diocesan cathedrals. So it's not an automatic status, but it just one of the criteria is that they have a cathedral, and this association between having specifically an Anglican cathedral, so the Church of England that is, started in the early 1540s when King Henry VIII founded the diocese. So that's eight cathedrals being like in cities. So I think he wanted to focus more of the Anglican faith in the UK, so to try and get out of the Catholicness that the country used to be before Henry VIII's divorce with his first wife. So yeah, so that's just a bit about the city status. So Chester is located in the county town of Cheshire. So Cheshire is the county or the province or the state, and also Void Worship if you're based in Poland. So Cheshire is it's a very nice city. It's got a lot of different districts, and it has about 2,344 or so kilometer squared area, and has a population around 1.1 million people. So it's quite rural, and it used to be known for making agriculture, produces chemicals as well, Cheshire cheese, salt, and silk. So that's like the main income from this particular state back in the day. So back to Chester. So as I said, it's a county town of Cheshire. So that just means that it's the most important town or city in that particular province. So for Cheshire, the county city in this case is Chester. So it usually means that this is the location where you have administrative or any judicial functions, and it's also the place where the members of the parliament for the local county are elected. Chester is like the main area for that, basically. So initially Chester was founded all the way back in 79 AD as a castrum or a Roman fort. So castrum is the Latin word for fort, I believe, and the name that was given initially is the Deva Victrix, and it was found during the Emperor Vespasian's time. So Deva Victrix, or also called Deva, it was a legionary fortress rather, and town at that time in the Roman province of the UK, which was initially called Britannia. So the fortress was actually built by the Legio to Adiotrix in the 70s AD. So Legio to Adiotrix means the second legion, the rescuer, and they were the legion of the Imperial Royal Roman Army, and they were founded in 1780 by the Emperor Vespasian. So it's mostly like a navy sect of the legion. So the symbol of the legion was Capricorn and Pegasus. So the fortress, like I said, was built in 70s AD by the Legio Adrix, and it was built against the Brigantes, who were the ancient Britons that existed before before the Romans, and they controlled quite a lot of like the north of England territory. So their territory was initially called Brigantia. Um, so just a brief introduction about that. So Chester's got a lot of Roman history, and that's the history that I like. So that's why I'm talking a lot about the Roman times, because you can find quite a lot of good evidence, as it'll go through this, on Chester as well, Chester's Roman past. Um, so over the decades that the Romans had control of Chester, it was the Deva was completely rebuilt by the Legio XX Valeria Victrix. So that's the 20th victorious Valeria Legion. Again, another legion of the Imperial Royal Family, and their legion had a boar as its emblem. So around the early 3rd century, again the fortress was rebuilt, and the legion probably remained in the fortress. So this is the XX Valeria Victrix until the late 4th or early 5th century, and after that it just fell into disuse basically. So because the legion was around for a long time, a civilian settlement basically grew around this area, so that's called the Canabae. And Chester's Roman amphitheater was also built, and it's one of the largest known military amphitheater in Britain. So if you just try and find the amphitheater, so this again is the main city area of Chester. And if I was to zoom in here, you can find quite a few different areas of Chester. So the first thing we're going to look at is the Chester Roman amphitheater. So it's a Roman amphitheater. Let me do street view so you can see a bit of a bit of the fort from this view, street view. So this is what remains of the fort. So as you can see, it's kind of in the middle. It's surrounded by the road on one side. So so the ruins are, it's actually a stone ruin. You can see kind of here, stones here. And it's only like the northern half of the structure that you can still find. The southern half is still surrounded by buildings, which you can see here, and they are listed, which means that they have so anything in the UK that's listed means that those properties or monuments have special status. So means that any renovation that needs to be done has to go through like a special planning permission to that whoever does the planning permission in that local council. So at the minute, the amphitheater is the largest one that's been uncovered in Britain. Obviously, it doesn't look like much in comparison to the amphitheaters you find in Italy or in Greece, but this for so far is like a pretty good size for the UK. I believe it would have been used for like military training and drills, and also like all the evidence that have been excavated so far found that this amphitheater was also used for cockfighting, bull baiting, and combat sports, including classical boxing, wrestling, and obviously the most important one, gladiatorial combat. So even though it was in use for most of Roman occupation of Britain, after about 1350, the year 1350, it fell into disuse and was only rediscovered in 1929. This is when one of the walls, I believe, was discovered during construction work. So between 2000 and 2006, excavations were then done, and what you see now is most of what's been excavated. So the first amphitheater, I think, was like a simple structure built by the Legio II Adiatrix when they were briefly posted in Chester. And then it was rebuilt again by the Legio XX Valeria Victrix. Um, so the newer structure in its glory would have been around 40 feet tall, so that's 12 meters high, with stone walls, and around 320 feet, so that's 98 meters along like the axis, by 286 feet, 87 meters along the axis as well. So there's also a shrine that's dedicated to goddess Nemesis, who is the Roman goddess of retribution, and it's by the north entrance. So if I don't think you can see it from this angle. It'll be, I think, somewhere here. So at one point, the amphitheater could easily seat around 8,000 people, and around that area there's like a lot of dungeons and food stands and stables to support the contest as well. So yeah, so it's pretty cool. So that's just like a straight view of the amphitheater. At the minute, you can actually enter this amphitheater. It is free entry and it is possible to enter as well. So you can see a side entrance through here. And people still do gladiator fights. So there are tour companies in Chester. I will point out one of them that does gladiator tours. So you'll have like a centurion dressed up, and he or she will lead you along parts of Roman Chester, tell you more about the history of Roman Chester, and you have the option to also carry shields and fight out your heart's content in this amphitheater. So it's definitely worth checking out, especially since it's actually free to enter. I believe you do have to pay for the gladiator tours though. Sorry, Centurion tours. I don't think they're called gladiator tours. Sorry, I'm afraid Centurion tours. But you can be pretend Centurions or gladiators. It's up to you. So yeah, so it's pretty cool. So back to the history again of Roman Britain. So Chester also actually had a Minerva shrine. So Minerva, if you know your history, she is the goddess, the Greek goddess of wisdom. I can't do a street view on this, which is fine. Let me just click on this photo. So that's what it looks like. It's built on a sandstone quarry, and the shrine is the only in situ rock cut Roman shrine in Great Britain. So pretty cool. And the shrine actually stands near the route of one of the main Roman roads that led into the city of into the city or into the fortress at that time. So Minerva, she was just like her Greek counterpart, but more disciplined and warlike, was the goddess of war, knowledge, and craftsmanship. So yeah, so again, worth visiting if you're interested. So yeah, so that's just a bit about the Roman part of Chester. So around 1689, let me just go back to the middle again. King Ethelred of Mercia, he founded the Minster Church of West Mercia. So Mercia was like one of the kingdoms of England back in that time, and it would later become like the cathedral, the first cathedral. Chester also is pretty cool in the fact that it actually has city walls. Now this green bits here are city walls. Let me see if I can. No, I don't think I can. Okay, so if I go back to the Roman walls again, you can see if I was to go close to here. That these stone walls are actually the city walls. So initially they were built by the Romans, I believe, and they were then strengthened over time by the Angles. So again, like another ethnic group of the UK. Not ethnic group, sorry, like one of the Germanic peoples rather, who settled in Great Britain after the Romans left. And they found the like several kingdoms that formed the Anglo-Saxons in England. So they built like they made sure that the walls remained strengthened in order to fight the Danes. So yeah, so the city walls, it's pretty nice. So their construction, like I said, was started by the Romans between 1780 and BCE, and from around 100 CE they were made using sandstone, but not completed fully until like 100 years later. So the defense has pretty much improved over time, and I think eventually completed around the 12th century. So it's been one of those things that have been maintained for a while because it's quite old. You know, you had to maintain it pretty well. So you can, if I was to zoom back out again, you can. So these green dots here are the city walls. You can use it to go around quite a lot of Chester as well, around the race course, to the universities, to the castle. So you can cover quite a lot of the um, city as well using the city walls. Ooh, let me see if I can get. Ah, yes. Okay, so you see the city walls on the right here and the canals as well. So again, another picture of the city walls. So another thing that I just realized I forgot to mention. So once you actually leave the Chester Amphitheatre, you come to the Chester Roman Gardens. So it's free to get in, just like the amphitheatre, and it stretches out into the River Dee, which is one of the rivers that runs through Chester and part of Wales as well. So it has a lot of like old building fragments from when the Roman legionary had their fortress here in Deva, and they also have quite a lot of like military buildings and main bath sections as well from the Roman times. So you can see some of the sections here. Um, so again, it's pretty cool. Let me see if I can do like a okay. There you go. When it loads up. So this is one part of the the garden view. So you can see the walls in the distance here. And you can, as you can see, you can walk up towards the road there that goes back onto the amphitheater again. And if you go down this way, it'll lead you to the river. Now it doesn't quite show what I want to show, which is the Roman baths. Ah, okay. So this is some of the remains that still exist from the Roman bath. So this structure here on the right is the Roman bath. is pretty cool. Let me see if I can find a better picture of him. They also have some mosaics as well on the floor. So these Roman baths, they're the structure that remains from like the Roman bath essentially. So it's pretty cool. So definitely worth checking it out. So once you leave the Roman baths, you end up going towards the River Dee here. And if I just do a street view, so that's where you would exit from the river. That's the city walls there. I'm not quite sure why this is blurred out. And you can choose to either go down this way towards the Chester Meadows, or if you were to go right, it'll be towards the castle and more of the city centre. Now, you can also choose to do river cruises, like from these boats here. There's quite a few different boats that you can take depending on your budget. You can also do these hop on, hop off sightseeing buses. Now, a lot of cities do have these red buses. You can get tickets to go for like either the day or for like 2 days, depending on, again on your budget and how big the city is. And a lot of these tours as well, sightseeing tours, both the bus and the boats will have a guide. So either a live guide, so a person saying the history of the city, or as you're passing the sites, or there'll be like a recorded audio version as well, again of the sites of Chester. So you can see again the walls there as well in the background. This restaurant per head is actually a ice cream kiosk. There's quite a few of these ice cream kiosks dotted around um, around Chester, around the section. One of them is here, and obviously they'll be open during when it's more summery time. So I'm not actually going to show you the meadows, but I can show you where they are on the map. So these are the Chester Meadows, and they're pretty big area where you can go and like obviously go and have picnics. And I think they also have quite a lot of like different marshes and like water features areas that you can have a look at if you want to. So maybe like a nice day out if you're interested in like perhaps boating or fishing. I didn't go that way, so I don't know much about it. But you can, once you come out of the gardens and you turn right, you can go towards more of the city center. Let me see if I can. Yes. So going more towards the center. So you have the wall to your left, and you have the River Dee to your. Sorry, the wall to your right. Wall to your right. My bad. And the river to your left, which is a very nice scenic route. And along this path will take you more into the city as well. Like you say, as you can see the walls here. So do check them out if you're able to. Obviously, climb walls. It's not 100% user friendly from what I remember. So just be aware of that as well. So as we're passing on the road here, we have one of the Chester University campuses on the right here. It's a nice looking building than what Google Capture is showing, but it is pretty nice. So do check it out as well if you have the time to do so. I'm not quite sure what they teach in that particular campus, but I know they do a lot of wide variety of courses. So the end of this route will take you up this path, if I can go up this path. Apparently I cannot, let me see. Oh yes I can. So on the right here we still have the walls, and now we see the castle. It's called the, what is it now? The Chester Castle. So Agricola Tower and Castle Walls. Let me see if I can get a better picture of the tower. So there you go, that's the castle. So it was founded by William the Conqueror in 1070. So during the Norman conquest of the UK, and it became the administrative centre of the Earldom of Chester. So during like the reigns of Henry III and Edward I, kings of England, the castle was a military headquarters for the conquest of Wales, and a lot of the building was carried out during that time. So this type of castle is a Motte and Bailey castle. It's a Motte and Bailey because it's on top of a hill here, and you can in the olden times they would have had like a dam around it as well, sorry, moat around it, that served as a defensive fortress for those for the invaders. So during the Civil War, which lasted from 1642 to 1646, it was the headquarters of the royalist governor, Lord John Byron. And then afterwards, it just became like a permanent garrison, and there's a lot of like rebuild conservation work that happened between the 17 and 1800s. So the building is still in use, I believe, as the county hall, courts, and a regimental museum, but the military stopped using it since 1999. So the Agricola Tower was built in the 12th century, and it was the original gateway into the castle. And yeah, it's not always open to the public. I found that out the hard way. It's actually let me just find the website. Yep, it's actually owned by the English Heritage, and they're the ones who like run events there. So when it was last opened, I believe, as the website says here, 26th of November for a Christmas celebration. So as I said, they're not always open to the public. So do check out the website, the English Heritage website, before you go, just in case any special events are available and you can go during that. So it'll be quite cool to see it as well whilst you're there. English Heritage also own the Roman Amphitheatre. So again, so this is actually a better view of the amphitheatre. Forgot to mention as well, there's also a replica that you can find of what the amphitheatre looks like around that area as well, around the area of the amphitheatre. So yeah, so check out the English Heritage websites for more events that would happen on Chester Castle, so you can hopefully plan and go during that so you can see the castle as well whilst you're in Chester. So yeah, that's just a bit about the Chester Castle. And once you come out, you can access the Crown Court as well. Let's see if I can. Yeah. So this is the entry into the Crown Court. So the castle is on the right, just behind the street. Let's see if I can get a better angle of the street view. Okay, it doesn't seem to quite want to go there, but it is behind him. So this is what the Crown Courts looks like, and the military museum's just on here. So this is the building. So yeah, the building on the left here. I didn't go inside there, but it is all the military vibes from military regiments from 1685, I believe, to the current day military views. So if you're interested in military history, do check it out. Apparently Google's quite slow today. Never mind. Their website is on Google as well, and you can have a look at what kind of things they have before you go as well. So another point of interest as well is the Chester Racecourse, a very big racecourse as you can see from the picture here. Let's see if we can do a street view. Oh yeah. So I have no idea when it's like what time it's good to go and stuff. To see a racehorse. So I suspect you can get a okay. You can look online and see when you can go. Let me just do a video like this. So that's what it looks like without the crowds. I don't know if you can enter there for free as well to walk around, but again, do check it out if you are interested in seeing the race courses. So that's just a bit about the race course. So another museum that I went to when I was in Chester was the Grosvenor Museum. Now the Grosvenor Museum, um, it's actually a natural history and archaeology museum as well. And it takes the name from the Duke of Westminster, who are current like major landowners in the UK. Oh, in Cheshire rather. So it opened in 1886, and so I believe it's a Renaissance style building. So it's built made out of like red bricks, and it's a really nice looking museum from the outside as well. Let's see if I can do the street view. Please ignore the background noise of the airport, of the plane rather. The airport's not far from where I am. So this is what the museum looks like from the outside. Very impressive building. I was definitely in awe of it when I went. Um, so what are the artifacts that it has? So basically, it has a lot of like Roman um, remains. So I think you can find a shrine, the replica of the Minerva shrine in here. So when you enter, you see this wax figure dressed as a Roman soldier. There's quite a few of these wax figures. They are slightly creepy, not gonna lie, but they represent different parts of history. So this room, as you can see, it's got some paintings. The bottom floor itself, of the ground floor rather, is just dedicated to Roman history. So this is a replica of what the city would look like during the legionary time. So very extensive legionary base, as you can see. That looks like the amphitheater right there. And then that would have been the gardens and the bath, I suspect. I hope. I could be wrong. But maybe military buildings as well, relevant to the city. And then the river is there as well. So obviously looked very different to what we know now as Chester. So you can keep going through the rooms as well. There's like different um, like sections on different parts of Chester. So a lot of the stuff they have are donations. So for example, these artifacts, they would have been donated from prolific families in Cheshire. Um, these are, I believe, tombstones. Yep, tombstones, tombstone heads rather, of people who died during the Roman time. So a lot of them would have been military personnel. If you can read Latin, it can figure it out what's on the tomb headstones. If not, obviously you can see out the information page on the bottom here. It also has like other sections of history as well. So like a replica of the kitchen here from maybe the Victorian time. Not too sure. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Especially if you're watching this on YouTube. This is what it looks like from the floors. So this is a room from the Georgian era. I remember that. And you can't actually you can't enter into these rooms. You can just watch them through the glass panelings. Again, creepy doors dressed in Georgian time era, and there's more information as well about what this is. I think it's like a parlor area that you can check out. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to visit the natural history section because when I went twice to this museum, they were being renovated. I've not been since then, so I'm guessing it is open now. It should be. It's been some time. So this is a Victorian parlor, I believe, from what I read online. Again, very cool, and again also creepy dolls. you can't quite walk into this area, but that's fine. You can just watch from the glass door. And this is from I think it looks like 1950s Britain, possibly for the coronation perhaps, or maybe afterwards for like any other Jubilee celebrations as well. So lots to see, and it is actually free entry. That's the best bit about this museum, it's free entry. Though do donate, because they do a lot of good work on preserving this artifacts. Again, more of the Roman headstones that were found here. What else can I show you from this here? Also, I would like to thank these people that put their images up on Google for everyone to see. Stuffed, I want to say grey seal. Yep, seal. So again, there's some really cool things to see when you're there. So arts and a bit of history. So hopefully something for people to enjoy. So again, creepy puppet dolls. They don't speak, thankfully. They just stand there. They are very creepy. Oh, it's also a Victorian entrance. I think the rooms have been like laid into like different themed history from the throughout British history times. So that's why they all are not consistent in the history of the different rooms. And again, what a bathroom will look like at the time, and also some fashion clothing, which is pretty nice to see. So yeah, so lots of different things to see, worth visiting, especially since it's free. So far, a lot of the things you've seen in Chester so far has been mostly free, apart from if you want to obviously get food. Also, if you want to do the tour, guided tours using the river cruises or the bus cruises, you will have to pay for those. So the next on my list is the Chester Cathedral. As you can see, it's kind of more in the center of the city. Now, this is a really cool initiative that the cathedral has on, and it's a replica of the city of the of the cathedral using Lego. So I think they're trying to build the Chester Cathedral and parts of Chester in using Lego. Another minute, I think it's still relevant. It's £1 per block. So do check them out as well if you're there. So it was initially founded, so the cathedral that is, was founded in 1092 as a Benedictine abbey, and subsequently rebuilt around 1250 and took around 275 years to transform into the building that we can see now. So very impressive. So it's actually a fully functioning church as well. Has around 20 or more regular services. So you can obviously check it out if you're there. Of any like services that they're doing, if you're interested. It's very nice. So I think it's now a Anglican cathedral, so, but still is very cool to see. So the cathedral in Lego initiative that I mentioned, they has already had over like 300,000 Lego bricks, and it's like I said, it's the cathedral's being recreated using Lego pieces, and the base itself is I think is around 4 meters times 2 meters, and it's quite cool, and only seeing it face to face gives you how cool it is actually. So yeah, so they still have around 9,000 or so bricks to complete. So hopefully you're able to donate £1 when you're next there, so you can finish the model soon. I think it is actually free to enter, so do check it out. But for the guided tours, you do have to pay. So this little bit here, I think it's the cloister. I'm not too sure. But this courtyard area of the church is very nice, very peaceful, This is a fountain here. Do check it out if you're there. This tree, I went in May when I first visited this cathedral, and it was really nice, really pretty. Do recommend going there as well during the spring and summer, because this area was really heavenly, literally heavenly when I was there. So do check it out as well. And the church itself is very nice, and a lot of the churches in the UK, they are nice and also kind of unique to the UK, I would say. Definitely unique in compared to the Polish churches, which are also unique to themselves. But I will post more about that in later episodes on Polish history. So that's just a bit about the cathedral, and now I'm gonna finish off my tour when I can find it of the Eastgate clock. Here I am. Here it is, rather. So this clock, um, it's actually standing on the East Gate, which was the original entrance into the Deva Victrix fort. So the clock actually was a later addition, so built in 1897 to commemorate the Diamond Jubilee of Queen Victoria. Um, so apparently, according to Chester.com, it is one of the most famous landmarks and is the second most photographed clock in the UK after Big Ben in London. And you can actually climb up to see it more, and I think there should be a clock face on each of the four sides, and that's what it looks like from the outside. And you can actually go up this, and I'll just go back to the map again. You can go up this, and it's attached to the city walls as well, so you can go up. So like the green dot here, a green line rather, not dot, green line is the city walls, and you can have a look at the Eastgate Tower from like different angles. So that's gonna be like one of the last things I mentioned about the Chester. Obviously, there is more to do in Chester than what I mentioned. I'm just keeping it short because already it's coming up to 50 minutes on this video, and I'm pretty sure you don't want me to talk on and on a lot. As you can see, there's quite a lot of like things to do in Chester from what I mentioned. Do check out lightchester.com as well for more information. Another thing I can mention as well is because I just saw it now, is the Deva Roman Discovery Centre. I went there on a school trip. It was actually really fun, and if you got kids, I would really recommend visiting. But it's adult friendly as well. And again, it's based on Roman military history. Initially, it was a house, I think, and when the owner at that time excavated to do some building works, he found quite a lot of different foundations from like the Saxon times and the Roman times, and decided to turn it into a museum using the things that he found in there, including a couple of skeletons. So quite a lot of like different replicas are there of the Roman military uniforms, and like I said, the legion that was having this first, so that's the Deva Victrix, the Legio to Ajax. They were a naval part of the Roman Empire, a Roman army rather. So there's also a recreation of the ship. Let me just try and find it. The ship hull and everything that would have looked like during like the Roman times. So a replica of the ship. So definitely worth a visit. You do have to pay. Oh, here's the picture. You do have to pay. They also have these doors. I think this one speaks from where I remember. There's a few others as well dotted around, and you can walk around and see like all the different pieces of pottery and like jewelry, and like armor as well that was and skeletons that were found found during the Roman times. So just another trip idea. This museum, the Roman Center, also does what do you say, Roman guided tours, complete with your own centurion and sword and shields, and you can follow the centurion around Chester, and it ends up in the amphitheater where you can do like a mock fight. They also go down to the gardens as well. So we did this as part of school. I thought it was one of the funniest things I ever done. It was kind of embarrassing for a bunch of teenagers to be doing it, and that was a thought at that time. Um, but yeah, but you will see other tours as well, doing like march pasts across city, so you can join in as well. So yeah, so that's just a brief introduction into the history of Chester, very Roman based. It's my fault already. I am biased in the fact that I do like my Roman history. But Chester was also like, it has quite a lot of other history as well, but it is mainly a ancient Roman settlement. Um, so again, do have a look when you're there. So yeah, so that's just a brief introduction into Chester. I don't want to keep talking because then this video will be more than 1 hour long, and I'm pretty sure you guys have got other things to do as well. So I will leave out the links for uh, all the information sites that I used in this website. A lot of it is from Wikipedia, but it's also from visitchester.com, as well as the cathedral website and English Heritage as well. And I also encourage you to look up visitcheshire.com. They got things about what to do during like different holiday times. So because it's now nearly Christmas, there will be Christmas markets as well in the city. Um, so again, they'll have better things to show you, as well as information on where you can stay during the time, and other things you can do as well if you're not interested in like Roman history. So yeah, so that's it for today. Thank you for listening to my first ever video podcast, and I hope to see you all soon for another episode. See you guys later.